and you're like, you have three things that you have to implement now. Because if you wait over a week, they're not going to happen. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast, first episode of 2025. This is the mindset episode. Let's set the bar high. Where's your mind at? Where your mind is, your body will follow. This is the Ultimate OD Podcast. Here we go. All right, my friends, the Ultimate OD Podcast. This is the first episode of 2025. New beginnings, a new year. Just some thoughts that I have. One, when I started, I remember a big day for me was if we did $1,000 in a day. And it's laughable now because that's like not even a good day at all when I go to the office and do what we do now. But I remember being so excited when we did like $1,000 a day. I texted my man Marty Carroll, Cheyenne Vision Clinic. I'm like, hey dude, we did $1,000 a day. He's like, good job. You know, I can just imagine him getting that text now, being where I'm at now, and seeing that. And for a month, I wanted to hit $30,000. I mean, I think if we didn't hit that in a week now, I would be devastated. It would be a very bad month if I didn't hit that in a week. But just how perspective changes, how every season is different. And I don't know when it went from 30K to, well, I better do that in a week, but it happened, right? And I remember the nights of stress. Are we going to make it? Are patients going to show up again? Now that we're in the new spot, it's almost like reliving it again, but on a larger scale. Like payroll is doubled. And I see the bank account go to a certain number. I'm like, well, if payroll is this week, we aren't going to clear it. And then rent, and then marketing, just everything, like, holy cow. And it just keeps on going. And you ask yourself, what have you created? Why are you to this point? What brings us to this business cycle? And it's what we do at the end of every year. I think 2 years ago I sat down, told my wife, hey, we're gonna be different this year. We're gonna focus on profit. I think I read Profit First by Mike McAllowitz. I said we're gonna make a effort on social media, and realize me making videos and doing that was pulling teeth worse than that. And now we have a video going up every week. I made myself do it. I got better. And it's just what you think about at the end of the year. And I don't know why it takes the end of the year to do these things. I try to always have initiatives when you get back from a meeting or a conference, and you're like, you have three things that you have to implement now. Because if you wait over a week, they're not going to happen. And my ops manager got back from her first ever meeting, and she implemented, I think, nothing from what she had intended on doing. And I said, this is what happens. If you don't get on it right away, you're not going to initiate any of the plans. And hopefully you guys went into December thinking about the beginning of the year that your goals aren't something new, that you're just thinking about this month. Now, if they are, go ahead and do it. But we need a catalyst. We need an impetus to make change. And change is necessary to grow. It's the evolution. When you see the highlight reels, the people that are already accomplishing and doing what you're doing, you don't see the journey. And the journey is what you're in right now. It's what I'm experiencing. It's what you're experiencing. And you have to remember that. And I think along the way, we get lost and get caught up in the business. How do I make the business better? How do I make the business grow? And at the end of the day, if you're not happy with where you're at, is it worth it? Right? That's the question you have to ask yourself. And I have a couple of questions that I've been thinking about for the past few months, and I wanted to share them with you because I think when you go into the new year, mindset is the name of the game. What is your mindset, and how long can you stay in that mindset? Everyone has optimism January 1st. And it's a commercial on TV that I see. It could be something I've made up in my head, but in my mind, a week after January 1st is when the resolutions are done. They don't make them happen, or 2 weeks after was it Quitting Friday, and 90% of people are done with their resolutions and they're back to the way they were. All right. How long can you have a mindset shift and keep that going? Those consistent people, the people that decide to make a change and do it day in and day out, I think at the end of the day are the people we want to be. Okay? So one of the things that I think we lose track of, though, is ourselves. What kind of life do you want? And there's this quote that I saw. And this is not the closing thought. I mean, you're getting probably like 2 closing thoughts of the day because I'm going to put one out here right now. And it says, and I thought it was great timing. Beware of looking for goals. Look for a way of life. Decide how you want to live, and then see what you can do to make a living within that way of life. Oh, that's pretty deep, right? So how do you make that way of life? Here's the questions I think we need to ask ourselves. These are the things I think about more now than what I thought about in those early days. In the early days, it was just me trying to make the business work. I have faith the business is going to work, but am I going to be happy within it? I don't know. Question number 1 here. What is a perfect day? And this is a strategy that I've been trying to implement. And honestly, it's 3 to 5 things that if you do these 3 to 5 things, you've had a perfect day. Right? If you can come up with just 3 to 5 things that you do on a consistent basis, and that's your definition of perfect, you're going to hit so many wins. You're just going to keep on winning, right? And I've come up with a couple, and I'm really thinking hard about this. What do I need? Number 1, workout in the morning. I do that every single morning. That's the start of a perfect day. I get up and I work out. All right? Number 2, and this is about as far as I've gotten. Like, I love it when I eat dinner with my family. Right? Sit down at the table, eat dinner with the family. I've bookended it. Like to work out, like to eat. What do I do in the middle? And this is something that is really interesting to think about. Is like, do I want to go in and I want to see X amount of patients? Like right now on Mondays, I see like 23. I saw 23. The week before, 29 or 28 comprehensive exams. I love it. I don't like being slow. But as I get towards the end of the day, that last hour and a half, I can make it till about, I work till 6 on Mondays. 4:30 is when I start to hit my fatigue point. And I realize I don't take a lunch, I eat throughout the day. Just keep it coming. 3 an hour, sometimes 4. Let's get it done. I know that can't be sustained forever. I want to push it as long as I can, but I have to figure out, like, is it a perfect day if I see that many patients? Is it a perfect day if I see less patients? As a monetary goal, a perfect day. I don't know. Literally, I've been thinking about this for like 2 months now, and I'm trying to fill in the pieces. What is the definition? And I think the ability to look inward and find the answer is part of that journey that we're on. But that's the question I'm asking of myself, and it might be something useful for you guys to look at in your day. One of the things for the perfect day that I've thought about is when you have free time, what do you do? And honestly, when I have free time, I'm working out, cooking, or eating of some sort. And then also, the books I'm reading are all based on health. Like reading Good Energy by Casey Means, and I've been constantly looking up insulin resistance, delving into that, the perfect diet. Like, what foods are you really supposed to eat? And that is all over the spectrum. You talk to people that are crazy carnivores, crazy plant-based vegans, and everyone in the middle. Right? And all can be healthy. Every single one of them can have healthy diets, and you pick and choose what you want to see. We have a carnivore that's great at decathlon. You're at 10-9. Are the majority of them carnivore? No, probably not. We have the vegan bodybuilder who looks shredded and awesome. Are most bodybuilders vegan and shredded? No. But you pick the thing that motivates you, right? You pick the camp that is echoing your way of life. And I'm like, I'm going all in. And I'm getting more and more confused the more I look at it. But that's what I'm doing in my free time. When I'm watching YouTube videos, it's either how to increase like the perfect workout over a period of like 18 weeks to hit everything, not lose range of motion, to be able to have longevity as I get old. And I'm like, this is what I'm interested in. This is the thing that motivates me. What is wrong with me? I read a book called Diet Cults, and it was free on Audible. And I told my wife one of the coolest things ever is they went into the history of the potato. Hey, I can eat potatoes again, Ash. They're healthy, right? No, but I literally get juiced up about that, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why is that interesting? How do I make that a way of life? And honestly, optometry is about the closest thing I can do. And I'm talking about supplements and exercising to my diabetic patients. If they're on GLP-1s, hey, don't forget to work out and have, enough protein in your diet. I'm an N of 1, right? But what do you do in your free time? Figure that out and try to incorporate that. And again, I'm weird. Crazy workouts, crazy weird science nutrition stuff. I guess I'm going to make that an optometry practice. That's where I'm at. The other question I think you should ask yourself, because when you're at this time of year, it's really, probably I think the majority of us are optimistic, but it's really easy to get down on yourself. Like, oh, another year, more goals that I'm not going to accomplish. Or, man, I should be further along. Look at what they're doing and I'm here. And you have to look at an inner voice inside your head. Remember, this is a mindset podcast. If I talk to an up-and-coming optometrist who's starting a practice and they're struggling, I would be the biggest cheerleader ever. This is what happens. This is the journey that you're on. When I'm talking to my associate and we're building a practice, I'm echoing these things. You're doing fine. You're a good doctor, good practices. Just keep showing up. Work on the pre-appointing. I don't care if you're getting a lot of patients now, but if you get every single one of these patients to come back in a year, we're going to have momentum. 30,000 a month to 30,000 a week. That's what I kept doing. We kept showing up, and that's how you build momentum, right? I can coach them up. But when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, at the end of the day, I'm probably not that nice. I know I'm not that nice. What's wrong with you? You're not good at this. You keep saying you're going to do this, and honestly, sometimes you show up and you don't know what you have in terms of your staff, who's going to show up, what are we doing here, right? We have people that can't hit a button to say they've done pupils, EOMs, and whatnot. They can't put in the IOP. And this is my dream team. We've tried hiring for 6 months. What are you doing? It's really easy to give advice to other people. If your best friend, if anyone came and was looking for mentorship, you are calm, collected, have a 30,000 foot view. But when you're yourself, it's really hard to read the label when you're inside the ketchup bottle, right? And we're all inside the ketchup bottle here. We need to take a step back, give ourselves grace, make sure that the voice inside your head is the same voice that is advising a friend, that's advising someone you're trying to encourage to be an optometrist. Think of all the positives and good. Heck, I was talking to my manager in a review this week, and I talked to her about how far we've come, how we went from a little office with one doctor, 1,600 square feet, and now we have 2 doctor schedules. We've doubled our staff. We're functional. The patients are doing good. We know we can be better, but we're doing a pretty good job. And we have little victories along here. And if you don't take solace in those little victories, you're going to drive yourself crazy. You're not going to want to show up to work every day. I actually listened to my own advice. I'm like, hey, I guess we're not doing so bad here. Because when I'm looking in the mirror, I don't always see that rosiness myself. I demand more because I know what we can do and I know what other people are doing. Right? So give yourself grace. Make sure that voice in your head is the same voice that's advising those around you, that's helping your friend be better than they are. The question of what gets you excited to wake up in the morning? And honestly, that's a tough one for me too. Because I'm excited when I have like Thanksgiving, really cool. I have to get through Thanksgiving Day. Black Friday is pretty cool. I usually go out with my wife. I love the Saturday Michigan game. Sunday, end of it, but nice because it just feels good, right? So I love that time off, but I know if I had that time off all the like 24/7, I would not be excited. I would be bored out of my mind. I need to be chasing and pursuing something. So again, I don't know what gets me jacked up in the morning every day. Like, I'm excited to go in and grind. I like Mondays because it's just me in the exam room, nothing else to think about. The rest of the week, there's a little wearing more hats. Fridays are kind of cool now. I'm not seeing patients, but again, I have all this time and I'm not 100% sure where to direct it. Trying to figure out where I should be putting my energy. So again, I'm learning as I go. This is me verbalizing where I'm at in the journey, but what gets you excited in the morning? On a consistent basis. I love building. I like mentoring. But that's not what I do on Mondays, right? It's not what I do on Fridays. So it's one of those weird conundrums. But great question I think you need to ask yourself. And the last thought for this mindset episode is, are you willing to put in the work when you're not guaranteed the outcome? If you know you're going to win, if you know it's going to be the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, you are all motivated and ready to go. But what if it doesn't work out? Right? What if you put in all that work and you still fall short? Are you willing to fail? Right? At the end of the day, you inherently know by putting in the effort, going through these trials and tribulations, regardless, you'll be a better person at the other side, but is it worth it? Right? That's the question that I think you have to ask yourself. And you have to look at the things that I just talked about previously, the perfect day. What's the narrative you're telling yourself? What excites you in the morning? Are you fulfilling your life? Or are you just trying to chase a goal that will give you street cred that no one cares about? Right? Is the juice worth the squeeze? So as you get ready to hit 2025 and have the best year ever, which I know we're going to have a great year. This is going to be a year of growth. Man, I want to hit $2 million. And I hate how revenue is one of the biggest things that drives me, but it really is. I like hitting that revenue goal. And I have the mindset right now that I honestly think this year is going to be really, really bad in terms of net income. My net is going to be garbage, right? Because I'm putting all my money, all my effort, all my energy into trying to grow the practice. Every dollar is being reinvested and going. But that doesn't bother me as much. One of the things, and this might not be a great thing, this might be the antithesis of everything I just talked about, but this is a mindset that I've adopted right now is, as I enter 2025, wanting less things. Like, there's a few things that I thought about, like, hey, I want to get this, like a pair of shoes or some nominal things, right? I want to buy these things. And then invariably an expense comes up. And we have to put money X, Y, or Z elsewhere. And I got a little disappointed. I'm like, that's my problem, is I need to stop wanting other things. Why did I want that? I don't know. Everything I need, I have. I want to grow the business. That's where my energy and effort needs to go. All these other things, I'm going to put blinders up, and I'm just going to focus on growing the business. And again, that's complete opposite of everything I just told you in this podcast. And I think that in the long run, it's probably not the healthiest way to go. In the long term, that's not the play. But that's how I'm going to survive this year. And that's how I've made what I've made. But I'm trying really stinking hard to listen to those first things. My perfect day. The narrative I'm telling myself. what excites me when I get up in the morning. I myself know where I need to grow. We're doing this together, but right now, blinders up, just focus on the business. Your desires, all those wants will come at the end of the day. Is that where you want to be? We both, you guys listening and me talking into this microphone, have to ask ourselves that question. So, a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas. I want to know if any of these things resonate with you. If any of those questions you have answers, post. Give me an email. What's your perfect day? In the comments below. Let me know what your perfect day is. What 3 to 5 things do you have to accomplish? I'm curious. I want to see what you're doing because maybe that's what I need to be doing. Stay tuned. We'll have more for you next week. Where has the time gone? We are to the closing thought of the episode, and this is a higher level closing thought. This came from Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week. I haven't read the full book. I plan on doing that. But on his podcast, he posted like a few chapters, and I listened to those. And one of the things that stuck out was being and doing. Okay? What does being allow you to do? And the example he gave was being a great cook allows you to make dinner without help, right? So what do you want to be? And invariably, you want to find out what you want to do. So if I want to be great at business, why would I do that? So I can run multiple businesses, right? I mean, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? But sometimes thinking about what you want to be will help you figure out what you want to do. And as we go through, as you listen to the podcast and you think about, that perfect day, why you're grinding, what you're doing, sometimes it's easier to just not think about, the big picture of what you're actually going to do with it. It's just, what do you want to be? Want to be smarter? Why do you want to be smarter? So I can do this. Oh, it helps you. What do you want to be? Figure out what you want to be, and that will tell you what you can do with it. So I hope that helps. I hope you have a great year. Thank you for 2024. Get excited for 2025. That's what I have for you. Dr. Lily out.